So let's talk about sitting. Again, really glad this came up last session because, thinking about movement, we didn't really think to include a static posture, but it's really helpful because it's what we all do. So I guess we'll start from the ground up. Feet flat on the floor, knees right over your feet. And the first thing I like to do is just get my butt all the way back in the chair, right? Now, for a lot of us, but this is a really important thing about our desk chair, sometimes this actually happens to be the perfect chair for me because it ends right where my knee ends, so I'm getting nice support all the way through my thigh. Some of us, it kind of looks like this, so it's really short and we're lacking some stability there. So this is going to set me up for the best positioning here. The other thing, this chair really is perfect for me, is that I have a nice 90-degree angle here at my knee, which is really helpful. Whereas if the chair is too low for me and I'm in this position a little bit more, that's not going to be good. That's going to cause certain structures to get really tight. And if I'm in this sort of position where I would be a little bit higher, that's also going to put a little bit more pressure on my lower back and sits bones, which we don't want. So something like this, nice 90-degree angle there. So I like to get my butt, or I like to cue people to get their butt all the way back, because that's going to help. We're setting up the sacrum right there to support the rest of the spine. Right? We're setting up the foundation there. So some people you'll see letting the butt go a little bit forward here, and that's going to cause us to bow in the lower back and just cause a lot of tension right there. Doesn't really allow our abs to help us out. And when the foundation is like that, if I want to get to my computer, I'm going to have to do this. And that's putting a lot of pressure on my lower back. And then you multiply that by however many minutes we're staying there, it's no good. So get the foundation all the way back there. Now I have a nice support of my lower back on the back of the chair. The other extreme that you'll see are people who are hyper-conscious about their posture, so they overcorrect and they sit like this, which is also, very similar to the standing we were just talking about. It's a lot of extension in the back, and then, at the end of the day, your back muscles are just firing and working way too hard, and that chair is there to support you, so we want to get in a position where it's going to support us and take some of the load off. So as you get your sacrum all the way back, it's going to be able to rest on the back of the chair, and then it's going to be pretty natural for the rest of your body, the rest of your spine to be in a good position. So the next thing that comes into play that Jetty and I were talking about is where your computer is, right? So from this position, if I have to reach forward, it doesn't matter how good the bottom portion is here. If I have to reach forward to get to my keyboard, I'm going to reach forward to get to my keyboard, and that's going to put some pressures here, A big cue is wherever your head is. Your head is about 10 pounds, right? Maybe even a little bit more, especially if it's the size of Jetty's head. And every few degrees you go forward, it's going to get exponentially heavier or more weight for these back muscles to really be holding the head up, right? So we want to kind of balance that right up there, and that's we're going to be set up for the most success if we can kind of keep a nice, almost 90-degree angle in the elbow. They can be a little bit more, but we want to be able to be right here, all right? Not out here. So that's a big one. And the other thing, thinking about that, is some of us like to text, on our phones. And same thing, if we're doing a sitting position, I'm holding my phone here, that whole thing we were just talking about with the head is eventually just going to pull me forward, and probably even just looking at me, it probably looks painful. So a very similar thing of kind of keeping it up in this position right here, all right? Same thing with our computers, anything that we're working at the desk. Any questions?